Yo, what's going on, guys? I figured I'd make this video for you today. I'm working with one of the sprinters I work with overseas. I try to help him out sometimes with a lot of his technique. I know I made a video like this in the past, so what I figured I'd do is I'd make one again and kind of show you guys breaking down sprint form and sprint technique. He's a little more advanced and he's actually doing really well. He's dropped really well. I don't know if you follow me on like Instagram or Facebook. Check it out below. Try to go click on that for the Instagram. But I posted a picture about him. We dropped like 5-6 tenths or something crazy like that in his 100 in less than like 3 months. And if you're a track athlete, I don't care even if you're in high school. If you have a coach that drops you 5 tenths, I'm blowing my own horn, if you will, for right now. So hey, bear with me. But if you have a coach that drops that much in you in like 3/10 of a second, basically off a technique, you want to stick with that person. So there's my little pat on the back. I'm really proud of this kid. He's honestly taken every word that I've completely said, trusted in me. And even when I'm busy and throughout it, I mean, I'm not even doing this in person. This is purely online. That's the beauty of technology. I absolutely love what I do. I absolutely love helping you guys out, especially when I get to see you guys obtain those goals. So real quick, let's just break down his technique form, and I'll show you guys where he's kind of progressed. And like I said, I'm going to break down the sprint a little bit more for you guys. Maybe it'll help some of you out if you're doing the same mistakes. You can watch yourself, film yourself from the side, check out your own sprint cycle. A lot of guys, I mean, this might seem repetitive to the last one, but a lot of guys do the exact same mistakes over and over and over again. So if you can conquer that, I don't know if this is unorthodox to some of you guys, but the proof is in the pudding. The guys are getting faster, so check it out. Cool, so what you can see here, guys, I'm kind of off the cuff. I'm breaking this down for the first time. So do me a favor, you know what I mean? Some things I'm catching as we go. Some things I may miss. I always look at something like, basically like 10 times before I start to find something, but essentially here is his start. As you see, he's a pretty fast guy. He's got good burst. We've been working on that, and it's actually been showing off. I mean, watch when he raises the hips, bam! He's like a cannon out of there. But it seems really fast, but there's a couple things as a coach that I'm actually looking for. So essentially, even though this is fast, what I'm looking for is this back leg. So that's his power leg, okay? He's dominant in his left leg, so he's setting up there. So essentially what all good sprinters, and if you break down good sprinters, you're gonna see this. See, this is something that we've, I don't know if we've worked on, but he's got good technique. I want that shoulder right over that hand. It's a little further back, especially coming off these blocks. I'll be honest with you guys. I'll be 100% honest with you guys. I am by no means the all-star track coach, but at the same time, especially off the blocks, I'm more of a 40-60 type guy. I work with a lot of football and baseball players. So I had to do a little bit of studying, and I had to do a little bit of research on my own, you know, to try to help him out. And I always do that. I won't go in with somebody unless I'm helping unless I have that kind of knowledge. But really, when you understand mechanics and physics, a lot of this can become easy. But essentially, if I start inching this up, what you're gonna see is, let me see here. So essentially, I want his first movement, right? I don't want him to raise up. What I'm looking for is this hip right here, right? You guys can see my mouse. I'm looking for this hip to shoot straight out. I just want it to extend. So if you see that, what's essentially gonna happen is you're just gonna see this hip drop basically through extension as he's pushing off the blocks, almost like a broad jump. You want to extend those hips, like use power out of both legs. So what I'm really looking for is this leg right here is his back leg. This right glute should be firing, right? So when you're on the blocks or when you're getting set up for a sprint, this back glute should be just activated. Like you should feel like you're trying to flex your butt cheek right here, okay? I want you to keep your air in tight. Your head's a little bit tilted. I want more of a neutral spine here. Tuck that chin a little bit more. Suck that air in your belly just like hydraulic pressure. The same kind of movement you do when you squat heavy, okay? The rest of it looks pretty good. His shin angle is a little bit high. His hips are a little bit high, but you know what? He's a really tall guy. You guys can't tell, but I think he's like 6'4", 6'5". So like I said, when he first comes off, it's almost as if he's raising up instead of the hip just purely extending. But it's not bad. I'm being obviously very meticulous. I want him jumping off both those, extending out. See, like almost here, this hip should be like, it should be almost like you want to shoot straight out, and then almost it's like recovery, but that comes with time and technique, I believe. This isn't bad. This isn't bad. Shin angle looks good. Good. So, okay, so this is the big no-no that everybody basically does. Remember, this leg over here, his left leg, was the front leg. That's his dominant leg. Do you see how it already popped up? I know it's blurry, but this is his leg right here. It's already popped up, and he's already cycling it back to his butt. This back leg, we want to train this to almost drag across that. So you want to punch this first knee really high, which he did. Right? He's driving back down into the ground, and then essentially he doesn't want to cycle this back leg up. He wants to be able to drag this across and produce force back into the ground, produce force back into the ground, produce force back into the ground, at least for the first 5 yards. That's really how you set yourself up for good technique. So you see how he cycled, if you can see right here, this is really blurry, but this is his leg right here. It's already up next to his butt cheek. I'm wanting this to drag and produce force right back into the ground. So essentially what you're doing is your angle needs to be a little bit lower, right? So you can still flex the hip, but you're driving force back into the ground after you drag that toe. If you stand straight up and you try to punch that knee out the gate, that leg is gonna cycle. It has no other choice unless if you lift that knee, I mean, there's no choice but that leg to come up unless you straighten it out. So let's see the rest of this here. The rest of it looks good. I like the arm motion. Everything else looks pretty good. He's cycling again. Yeah, those first couple steps, I mean, even this leg, you don't want it to immediately cycle. You want to keep applying force back into the ground. We've worked on shin angle. That looks pretty good, but I still want you, I mean, if you can see his body angle is here, let's say that's 45 degrees, I would like it a little bit lower just because you have that power in you. You have good stride, and I just want that, since you have that good power, I want you to get a little bit lower. Even if we correct it to about right here, we're gonna be okay. You know what I mean? And this is full extension. If you can see here, I'm looking at his spine here to his pelvis to the knee, it goes down slightly and then back. So really what we would need to do is work on those hip flexors a little bit more, so that you can get full extension. Let me get out of this one. We'll go to the top speed. Cool. So here's your top speed. Let me look at it a couple times. Ah, you stood up on that one. That was a bad one. Yeah, you're standing straight up. I need you to shoot almost straight out. You need to be able to shoot straight out. So look, like I said, we're not going to go over the start because we just did. You know your legs are cycling. That's not bad. But when we get to top speed, okay, this is the same mistake we've been making. So you're getting full hip extension, right? Look at this angle. This is not bad. The knee could be a little bit higher. I want you to punch the knee a little bit more. The ankle is cocked. That's perfect. I've been working with him on that. I want this ankle to stay cocked. It should have that nice angle right there. When you tap off of here, you don't want to come up all the way onto the tippy toe too much. You want to be able to keep this ankle cocked here, so it's almost like you're just swiping at the ground, if you will. Anyway, this is a pretty good angle here. You're getting good hip extension. So, you know, like I said, out the gate, it didn't look like as much, but it might have just been where I was at the timeline. This knee could be a little bit higher. Now watch what you do. And this is what I see in almost all athletes that could get faster. Your leg, after you make ground contact, is already swooping back here. I'll move it a little bit forward more. So let me get a good angle. Yes, this proves exactly what I'm trying to say. So this leg, after it makes ground contact, is swooping, is basically pushing all the way back, and then it's not snapping. What you want is immediately after you make ground contact, you want this ankle, this heel to snap right back to that butt cheek. That's why I do a lot of those single leg high knees. Guys, make sure that you check out that video that I made about single leg high knees. This should never be like this. This heel should be already close, inches away from your butt, and that knee should be up in the air. You're swooping that around a little bit more. So if you guys see, I'll do it a little bit slow motion. Watch his back leg swooping back, back, back. Yeah, just like that. I want that knee. The knee actually looks decent. It could be a little bit higher about waistline, but immediately after you touch ground, I want that hamstring flexing and snapping right back to the butt. Boom, it should be snapping right back to it instead of that circular motion. I don't want that circular motion. I want that knee, that hip flexing immediately. Soon as you make that ground contact time, bounce that balls of that feet right off the ground and snap that knee straight up in the air. Punch that knee as hard as you can and have that, and basically you want to synchronize that, and that's your leg cycle. You know, sorry guys, the camera ran out of space. I don't even know, to be honest with you, where I was at. I didn't even look down, but it just ran out. But anyways, my moral of the story is arm pump looks decent. It could be a little bit tighter here. I often say from your face, from your cheek to your back pocket, to your holster or your butt cheek to cheek, some people call it. Basically want this one 90-90 right in front of your face. When this arm comes back, unless it's the start, I want this right by your butt cheek. I want this tight and efficient, and you got to be pumping those. The only other thing I could say is that leg is swooping back in a circular motion. I want to see it, like I said, your leg cycle is a matter of your hip flexion right here after you make ground contact, snapping back up, and your hamstring flexing. So your hamstring is flexing and your hip flexor is flexing, right? So this is across the knee joint, this is across the hip. You need to be able to snap those immediately, and that's what makes an efficient leg cycle. So I hope this helps for some of you guys. Like I said, this is kind of just off the cuff, so you know, bear with me. If this helps some of you guys, then that's all I care about, all right? I'll holler at you guys next time.
I don't want to be an icon. I want to be an idea. You know, I want to represent an idea.
So look, for top speed exercise today, I wanted to share with you guys something that I think is such a simple tool you can utilize to correct a lot of your top speed. So often I talk about the mechanics of the lower body and cycling when you're in top speed.